Hello everyone, welcome you all to this session of teaching ICSE Biology for Standard 10. In this session, we will continue with chapter 14, that is Human Evolution. What is evolution? We know that evolution involves the gradual changes from simple to more complex forms. In the previous session, we had discussed about different theories of evolution. In this session, we will discuss exclusively about human evolution. Humans are also believed to have developed from simpler form like apes. The primary source for detailing the path of human evolution is fossil specimens. So, the scientific study of human origin and evolution is based on fossils, which were obtained primarily from Asia and Africa. Though the fossil record is incomplete, but it is enough to construct the evolutionary path that man has followed. How the modern man was evolved. There were multiple studies conducted on it. Fossils of all ancestors were found and they were studied, and the links were connected to find out how the humans are evolved. When the fossil study was going on, simultaneously stories about their habitats like caves, forests, mountains were also made in relation to the changes that apes must have gone through to transform into modern man. It is believed that when human evolution began, the common ancestors of apes and primitive humans had to come down from trees in the forest where they lived to grasslands because of glaciation. Glaciation is the formation of ice sheets or glaciers due to very cold atmosphere. Because of formation of ice sheets, the vegetation is covered and the forests are massively reduced. So they have to migrate to grassland, caves, etc. According to the studies of fossils and their environment where they existed or survived, man is supposed to be originated from ape-like ancestors about 15 to 20 million years ago. That is called late Miocene period. These ape-like ancestors serve as common ancestor for both apes and humans. Sometimes around 6 to 8 million years ago, there was a common ancestor for apes and chimpanzees. Some of them continued to live as chimpanzees. Some of them evolved over many years into human beings. It is not a quick process. It takes millions of years to happen. Some organisms may not change due to various reasons, like they cannot adapt changes in the environment, unable to adjust. As we have discussed in the theories of evolution, many organisms extinct. Some of them managed to survive without any change, and some evolved into new forms. That is why humans, we believe, evolved from monkeys, and monkeys are also still existing on this earth. It is believed that the humans first evolved in Africa, then they migrated to all other parts of the world. According to the theories of evolution, all these changes occur due to adaptation of changes to adjust to the environment which is required for their survival. The scientific name of man is Homo sapiens. It was given by Carl Linnaeus. Homo sapiens belongs to the order primates along with monkeys and apes. Major changes took place in the evolution of human form from an ape-like form are many. Now, what are the major changes occur in the evolution of humans from ape-like form to transform into human form? These changes are found out from fossils, and these changes are: first one, bipedal locomotion and freeing of forelimbs from ground. They started working with two limbs. Increase in cranial capacity. Cranium or brain box becomes bigger or larger gradually with the increase in the size of brain. Reduction in the size of canine, because initially he was eating only flesh, so the canine was very well developed and bigger in size. Later, feeding habit changed and he became omnivore, which resulted in the reduction of canine. Loss of jaw power. More jaw power was required to chew flesh, but when he started eating plant parts, the jaw power gradually reduced. Development of chin. Chin is developed to maintain jaw resistance to loads because teeth got smaller, jaws and chewing muscles got smaller because of change of food habit. Chin helps jaw to balance mechanical stress while chewing, which produces a great deal of force. So it is a biomechanical change with the change in the position of face from a projecting face to a vertical face. Forehead and brow ridges gradually developed. Increase in height is another change. Bipedalism and gradual erect posture resulted in increase in height. Erect posture, because of bipedalism, lumbar curve at the back of the body is developed, which made the posture straight. Reduction of body hair. As they moved away from shady, cold areas to grasslands, they developed a new method of thermoregulation. Loss of hair made it possible to hunt during day in the hot grasslands without overheating. Well, this is the most accepted theory of loss of hair. Let us see what are the various stages in the evolution of man. Pre-human ancestor is known as Ramapithecus. Then human ancestors are Australopithecus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus and Neanderthal man. Then Cro-Magnon man. Then at last the modern man or Homo sapiens. First of all, we will discuss about the pre-human ancestor, that is Ramapithecus. The first fossil remains of Ramapithecus were discovered from the Sivalik range in Punjab and later in Africa and South Arabia. They lived in open grassland. The characteristic features found out from fossils are they had robust jaw, means very strong and healthy jaw, few teeth, thickened enamel, shorter canines, they worked erect, they had a tendency to walk erect, use their forelimbs for food and defense. These characteristics confirm their homonymid status. Homonymid status means they are the member of the group consisting of all modern and extinct humans and apes, including gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, etc. But they are considered to be of an early man-like primate and of the oldest man's ancestor and are known as pre-human ancestor. Another pre-human ancestor who lived in dense forest and were completely herbivorous in nature was also mentioned by researchers. Its name was Dryopithecus. The first stage of human ancestor is Australopithecus. The fossil of this genus was first discovered in 1924 in South Africa. They lived on the ground. They walked almost erect. They had small statured body. Height was about 120 centimeter tall. That is 3.5 to 4 feet. Cranial capacity ranged from 450 to 600 centimeter cube. They were bipedal and had similar teeth and jaw like modern man, suggesting that they were more of meat eaters. Vertebral column had a distinct lumbar with broad pelvis. Prognathous face means face protruded outward, chin was absent, eyebrow ridges were projected over eyes. There is no gap between the incisor and canine teeth like apes. They used to keep their forelimbs, that are arms and hands, free for grasping objects such as food and young ones. They could look around for food and predators more easily. The brain of Australopithecus is supposed to have been only about 33 to 35% in size than that of a modern man. They continue to live in African grasslands, that is savannas, for almost 2 million years. The next human ancestor after Australopithecus is Homo habilis. They were existing around 2.5 million years ago. The genus Homo split off from Australopithecus. They were discovered in eastern Africa. Studies indicated that this organism could have been the first to have exhibited a shift towards the human trait. They were placed under the separate genus, that is Homo, and the species came to be known as habilis. The body was covered with hair. The cranial capacity was much larger than Australopithecus, that is 680 to 735 cubic centimeter. It is also assumed that this species began to exhibit social behavior to some degree. Height was on average 150 centimeter, that is 4.5 to 5 feet. They were nomads, means they were wanderers. They were not having any permanent shelter, and they moved around hunting for meat, but mostly preferred to eat fruits and vegetables. They still possessed a few body proportions, that is shorter legs and longer arms, much like Australopithecus. They had a slight protruded forehead, unlike Australopithecus. Their finger bones seem to have evolved into having better ability to grasp objects precisely with a better grip. They used hand tools and weapons and referred to as handyman. They were also bipedal, used two hind limbs for locomotion. Their jaw bones were smaller than those of the Australopithecus, with teeth appearing more. Protruding jaw with large molars, and the dentition showed small canines. The next stage of human evolution is Homo erectus. Homo erectus, which means an erect or straight or upright man, is supposed to have the first hominid to have moved out of Africa into Asia. He is our forefather or Indian ancestor, as we all belong to Asia. Lived from 1.8 million years ago to about 1 million years ago. Tall and thin body, but shorter than the present day humans. This probably helped him in hunting, gathering and scavenging to obtain food. The brain size had increased to about 1100 cc. The structure of the brain too was beginning to look like that of a modern man. He had a low forehead and massive brow ridge with large, thick jaw without a pointed chin. They had small canines, smaller molars, and were beginning to appear in Homo erectus like those seen in modern humans. Limbs appeared much like those of the modern man. Homo erectus was also beginning to truly exhibit cultural and social evolution. They even resided in huts and caves and used animal skin for protection from the cold climates. The stone tools that they made were also better than those made by Homo habilis. The use of fire also started by Homo erectus. Their body size had increased to about 120 to 150 centimeter, that is 5 to 5.5 feet, and their cranial capacity ranged between 800 to 1125 cubic centimeter. Homo erectus were considered as the first ancestors to hunt animals and use fire. They worked fully upright and their pelvis was more bowl shaped. Homo erectus were called so because they stood erect and the proportion of arms and legs resembled that of the modern man. The forehead was receding, jaws were still projecting, and chin was absent. The size and arrangement of their teeth resembled more with humans rather than those of apes. The next stage of human population is Neanderthal man. The European population of the previously migrated Homo erectus evolved into Homo neanderthalis, commonly known as Neanderthal man. They lived in the parts of Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. Neanderthals originated about 50,000 years ago and lived alongside modern humans until about 3,000 years ago. The first fossil of this species was discovered in 1856 from the Neander Valley in Germany. They had a larger brain compared to the present day humans that was around 1500 cc, relatively more muscular and heavier body. Middle part of their face appeared protruded in front. The tools that they made were slightly complex. Their DNA has been studied and this had shown the presence of the gene for language ability in them. They also exhibited a reasonably good degree of social behavior and culture. This group is often referred to as Homo sapiens neanderthalensis as a closely related group of modern human species, Homo sapiens sapiens. Neanderthal men were successor of Homo erectus. They had a height of about 160 centimeter, that is 5.5 feet. The cranial capacity was about 1450 cubic centimeter. Neanderthal man exhibited characteristics like absolute bipedalism, large head, broad, flat and sloping forehead, prominent brow ridges, almost no chin and less hair on the body. The classical Neanderthals were found in Western Europe, North Africa and Asia. The Homo sapiens is believed to have arisen from the main Neanderthal population and then developed into Cro-Magnon. Neanderthal men were evolved into Cro-Magnon men. The first fossil of modern man was found from a place called Cro-Magnon in France, and therefore he is famously known as Cro-Magnon man, who was supposed to be lived about 3000 years ago. The Cro-Magnon man had a brain size of about 1500 cc on an average. Cro-Magnon man had less prominent jaws and their teeth are relatively smaller compared to earlier species. They had a distinct chin with legs longer compared to their arms or hands. They were relatively tall with an average height of about 5 feet 7 inches. Cro-Magnon man is supposed to have made a lot of sophisticated and modern tools because its brain capacity was better. This group has most resemblance with the modern man. Apart from the cultural and social aspects compared to the present day human beings, this group has most characteristics similarity to those of present day humans. The two major changes observed in human evolution were the development of an upright posture and an increase in brain size. They had also developed language. They started making tools, discovered fire, gradually moving on to making even clothes, buildings, houses, and finally began practicing agriculture. That is how human settlement started, leading to modern civilization. They were about 180 centimeter, that is 5 to 5.6 feet in height. The cranial capacity was about 1450 to 1600 cubic centimeter. They had a large skull, broad face, rounded forehead, and a prominent chin. They lacked eyebrow ridges. The body was less hairy. Face was perfectly orthognathous, that is straight and strong jaws. Strong jawed with man-like dentition. They were swift-footed, means very rapid walking organisms, and cave-dwelling beings. They used to live in the caves. Cro-Magnon made tools from finely chipped stones. They were good hunters and knew to use the hide of animals, but did not know exactly proper methods of agriculture and domestication. The Cro-Magnon man possibly represented the transition between the Neanderthal man and the modern man. Further evolution of man after Cro-Magnon involves the evolution of culture rather than anatomy, means body structure. The modern man, Homo sapiens, evolved from Cro-Magnon man towards the end of the last glacial period. Fossils of modern man has been found in the deposits in France, Java and South Africa. It is believed that the man of today first appeared about 11,000 years ago in the region around the Caspian and Mediterranean Sea. They have certain specific characteristics. They are bipedal locomotion. They walk with legs or two hind limbs, with 4 reversed curves in the spine: lumbar curve, sacral curve, thoracic curve, and coccygeal curve. Head was upright, skull on the top of the vertebral column, eyes facing in front. Neck was more mobile and able to rotate the head for vision in different directions, possessing binocular vision. Binocular vision means he was able to see with both the eyes. 2 different images were taken by both the eyes, and there was overlapped between those 2 images, and one 3-dimensional vision was possible. Cranial capacity ranged from 1450 to 1600 cubic centimeter, and the brain size was about 1300 cc. That means the cerebrum was much enlarged, which is the bigger part of the brain. The largest part of the brain, cerebrum, which is the seat of intelligence, that was much enlarged, which indicates greater intelligence in the modern man. Limbs were straight, with hind limbs longer and forelimbs shorter. Fingers and toes were with flat nails. Forehead was steep or sharp or mostly perpendicular, reduced brow ridges. Chin was very well developed and prominent. Thoracic region, chest region, was flattened into a broad chest by flattening of sternum. Sternum is the middle bone of the chest cavity. Hair on limbs and body highly reduced, and the posture was perfectly erect. These were the identifying characteristics of the modern man or Homo sapiens. In this series of pictures, you can see the development of brain and enlargement of cranial capacity gradually, starting from Australopithecus to modern man, and there was also change in body posture and height. Now we will discuss a comparative account of all the human ancestors, which is very, very important for your examination point of view. Let us see what are the differences in bipedalism, cranial capacity, and size of canine teeth. When we talk about Australopithecus, they walked nearly straight. Vertebral column had a definite lumbar curve, but in Homo habilis, bipedal manner of walking, slightly more erect than Australopithecus, and Homo erectus was fully erect with bipedal manner of walking. Neanderthal man was having absolutely bipedalism, and Cro-Magnon man also having perfect bipedalism. They used to walk very easily and comfortably with two limbs, hind limbs. Homo sapien was also having perfectly bipedal and speedy locomotion also. When we talk about cranial capacity, in Australopithecus, the cranial capacity is 450 to 600 cubic meter and centimeter, 450 to 600 cubic centimeter, and in Homo habilis it is 680 to 735 cubic centimeter. In Homo erectus it has increased, that is 800 to 1125 cubic centimeter, and more increase in Neanderthal, that is about 1415 cubic centimeter, and in Cro-Magnon further increase is there, that is 1450 to 1600 cubic centimeter, and in Homo sapiens it is 1450 to 1600 cubic centimeter. The cranial capacity gradually increased, and with that the brain inside the cranium also increased, and the intelligence also gradually increased. The size of canine teeth in Australopithecus is almost the same as modern man, did not project the label of other teeth. All the teeth were at the same label. In Homo habilis, canines are small, almost like that of modern man. In Homo erectus, canines of lower jaw are larger, more like that of a modern man. Canines of lower jaw larger, they are more like that of a modern man. In Neanderthals, canines are small, heavier than that of modern man, and there is presence of wisdom teeth, wisdom molar teeth. In Cro-Magnon, canines are small, teeth are very close to each other, and wisdom teeth were also present. In Homo sapiens, also the canines are small, teeth were closer to each other, similar to Cro-Magnon almost, and wisdom teeth were present. When we talk about forehead and brow ridges, development of chin, body hair, height and posture, there are similarities and little differences between all the stages. In Australopithecus, forehead is low forehead, eyebrow ridges were projecting over the eyes. But in Homo habilis, forehead was residing, that is with residing means small with ape-like head. In Homo erectus, forehead was small, residing and low, prominent brow ridges and deep set orbits and prognathous face, that is projecting low jaw and chin in the face. In Neanderthal men, forehead is low and slanting, broad and flat, prominent eyebrow and eyebrow ridges. In Cro-Magnon, broad arched forehead, moderate brow ridges and orthognathes face. Orthognathous face means face with straight and strong jaws. In Homo sapiens, stiff forehead, almost perpendicular forehead, reduced brow ridges and flattened face. When we talk about chin, in Australopithecus, there was no chin. Chin was absent. In Homo habilis also almost no chin. In Homo erectus also chin was absent. In Neanderthal men, strong lower jaw with almost no chin. In Cro-Magnon, the chin was well developed, and in Homo sapiens, it was more developed and prominent, and snout disappeared. That is, the projection of nose and mouth disappeared. Body hair in Australopithecus was present. Body was covered with long body hair. Then in Homo habilis, the hair length of the hair on the body reduced. Then Homo erectus, again reduction of hair. In Neanderthal man, this reduction of body hair continued. Then in Cro-Magnon, still less body hair, body was less hairy, and in Homo sapiens, there was highly reduction of body hair. Height and posture in Australopithecus is, height is about 120 centimeter, that is 3.5 to 4 feet, nearly upright posture, not perfectly upright. Then in Homo habilis, the height is 120 to 150 centimeter, that is 4.5 feet to 5 feet, and bent knee posture, that is at knee, the posture was bent at the knee. Homo erectus was having height 120 to 150 centimeter, that is 5 to 5.5 feet. Their legs are straight and upright, not bent at the knee. Then in Neanderthal man, the height is about 160 centimeter, that is about 5.5 feet. Semi-erect stooping structure means body is little bit bent forward and downward, not fully straight, erect. Then in Cro-Magnon, the height is 180 centimeter, that is 5.5 to 6 feet, and body is fully erect, perfectly erect posture. Then in Homo sapiens, the height was up to 190 centimeter, that is beyond 6 feet. Then body is fully perfectly erect. This is the journey of man from ape-like form to modern man form. So the evolution of modern man has been a continuous process. The modern man developed a logical and syllabic speech in order to communicate with each other. He used metals to prepare metallic tools, ornaments, utensils by smelting ores. He cultivated different varieties of plants, crops, and domesticated animals for economic importance. He got a variety of products from them, which he used for himself and exported also, and got profit from it. Cities developed on river banks were good for agriculture. So there was advancement of agriculture. With the permanent settlements, humans vastly expanded their numbers, and gradually they settle in permanent settlements, and that way the civilization started. The man started with tool making revolution, then stepped into agricultural revolution, and now today man is going through scientific revolution. Humans have altered the world in the ways that benefit them greatly. But with these unintentional consequences of this transformation, humans also have created new survival challenges, not only for themselves but other species as well. Thank you.